All right, great. Thank you. My name is Alvin Kato, and I'm the country manager for the African Management Institute here in Uganda. At AMI, our mission is to enable ambitious entrepreneurs and organizations to thrive and to grow. And we do this by delivering practical business growth and workplace learning programs. We've been very fortunate to support the strengthening of the BDS ecosystem in Uganda. We're also having opportunities to support across other countries in Rwanda as well as in West Africa. So we've kind of built learnings from a few different models, which I'll also be sharing here today. Unfortunately, Kenneth, who is the chair of the United Business Board Professionals Limited, is not able to join. I think he's having some technical challenges, so I'll carry on throughout the full presentation. If he does join in the middle, then he'll be able to contribute. So our real goal when it comes to strengthening the BDS ecosystems was what we're trying to answer really is, how do we raise the bar for African BDS? And can stronger BDS systems accelerate MSME growth at scale? And we believe that this is true, but we need to move away from fragmented project by project support and start building more coordinated and quality-driven, as well as commercially sustainable BDS ecosystem. And as Mark rightly put, in Uganda, we're already seeing momentum. We've had great buy-in from the government to create this kind of ecosystem for BDS in order to achieve the national development priorities of the country, of which the private sector and MSMEs play a critical role. So today I'll just briefly share about kind of what Uganda is doing as a country, some of the steps that we've made in terms of strengthening the BDS ecosystem already, what AMI has been testing along with other partners, and then hopefully in the breakout rooms we'll be able to discuss some of the unanswered questions that we still have. So in terms of Uganda's vision for the BDS ecosystem, we are currently at the point where we are developing the second BDS strategy framework, which essentially will provide the national direction for BDS, the BDS ecosystem in the country. And the strategy framework essentially has 5 key pillars, which focus on policy guidelines, inclusive MSME delivery, export and transformative BDS, BDS development and coordination, and digital and innovation. So one of the key transitions from the previous strategy framework was that the previous strategy framework focused a lot on delivering mass scale BDS, whereas the current strategy framework is focused a lot more on creating the right system and then developing a graduation model where BDS supports MSMEs to graduate from, the micro level all the way up to growth stage and large export ready BDS. So there's a very intentional segmentation focus within the new strategy framework, which should be fully rolled out within the next financial year, and that's in July. And where we've really, already made quite significant progress is on the policy guidelines side. We've, as Mark said, we've been able to establish national BDS standards, which AMI was really involved in developing in partnership with the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda. We've worked with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives to set up a national BDS association. whose responsibility will be to really own the mandate of professionalizing the BDS ecosystem. And then we are also working, the country is working on the national BDS policy. This is something that AMEA is also actively driving with the Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Cooperatives. So really the goal here is to ensure that BDS moves from isolated enterprise support activities to more ecosystem strengthening, where there is graduation of businesses across the different segments. A critical part of this ecosystem is, and the strategy framework is United Business Support Professionals Limited. Unfortunately, Kenneth is not on today, so however, this was the National BDS Association launched on the 26th of March this year. In partnership with the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, and in collaboration with a number of BDS ecosystem actors, AMEA, AMI, the Private Sector Foundation of Uganda, a number of BDS providers as well. And UBSP's mission is to unite and professionalize BDS providers in Uganda by strengthening capacity, promoting and enforcing the quality standards, encouraging self-regulation as well, and ensuring that there is knowledge sharing and learning across BDS actors, while also supporting impactful services to MSMEs that support sustainability, resilience, and inclusive growth. So UBSP as an association will play a very critical part in ensuring that the second strategy framework is the goals of the second strategy framework are achieved, and also will play a critical role in building credibility and trust within the BDS ecosystem, so that one of the challenges that we faced in Uganda even before we developed the standards was, how do you ensure that BDS providers in the market are good, that they are quality, and UBSP will have the mandate of enforcing adherence to the standards or incentivizing adherence to the standards, and that is, those are both activities that will be built along as throughout UBSP's journey, but it's really about building that credibility so that there is trust within the BDS ecosystem, both on the MSME side, but then potentially on the donor side as well, and within the development partners that we work with. Because if we are to transition to a cost share model, then there definitely has to be trust within the BDS market. So we have UBSP, which is now going to be taking on that role. We have the BDS strategy framework. We have the standards that are in place, and we have the policy that's in place. So a lot of activities in terms of the policy and guidelines area of the pillar of the framework. What AMI has been working on over the past 3 to 4 years is really experimenting on how we can build evidence that supports the overall strengthening of this BDS system. So we've been, again, working with different partners. We've worked with AMEA, PSFU, AGRA, the Agribusiness Foundation, to be able to test different models that actually link quite closely with the different pillars of the BDS framework. So I'll go into some of the things that we've been testing. So I've spoken quite a bit about the standards. Already we developed 2 standards. The first focused on the organizational capacity of BDS providers. How do you ensure that the BDS provider, even before they are supporting businesses, their internal house is in order, and do they have the structures in place that they can then guide businesses that they are working with on? And then the second one was in standard for service delivery, which is essentially what is the process that a BDS provider should follow when engaging with a business, with an MSME that they're supporting. It should always, and we developed this process through our own experience in delivering, evidence-based and research-backed support to the businesses that we've worked with over the past 13 years as AMI, and in also close consultation and collaboration with a lot of ecosystem partners in the market. That second standard, for example, focuses on, gives guidance on how they can use diagnostics to understand the gaps, how then they should structure their engagement, how they can ensure their support is inclusive, meets the goals of the SME that they're working with, and also then how do they ensure impact and focus on impact rather than just ticking off a box in terms of training. We then, so on top of developing the standards, we then trained a number of BDS providers across the country on these standards, as well as how to use diagnostics, how to use tools, this is something that we felt was necessary to really reinforce the adoption of the standards. The standards, since being gazetted, are publicly available on the Uganda National Bureau of Standards website, but then in order to take it one step further, how do we actually ensure that people understand the standards and understand how to apply the standards in order to achieve the goals of the businesses that they are working with? What we also ensured that we took into account when we were working with the BDS providers and building their capacity is ensuring that we segmented them as well. Because what we realized is that there's different segments of BDS providers. You start off from the consultants, individual consultants, then you go into the adjacent segment, which is essentially the middle segment. This is a company that essentially employs 2 to 5 people that is focused on BDS and business advisory. And then you have the large-scale specialist providers. So this segmentation support was critical in designing the capacity building programs that we delivered for the BDS providers. And then lastly, what we also wanted to ensure we supported the providers with is digital diagnostic tools in order for them to be able to understand the critical gaps their clients face, provide them with dashboards so that they can track progress, and ultimately be able to provide data to their clients, showcasing how they're improving across the support that the BDS provider is providing. So these are a few of the initiatives that we've been able to experiment with over the past 3 to 4 years. And since then, we've been able to strengthen over 250 BDS providers across the country. In terms of the digital, in terms of usage of the digital diagnostic tools, so far 534 businesses, MSMEs have been supported, and there were some challenges here, some lessons that we learned with regards to usage of these diagnostic tools. However, where we saw the biggest upside improvement is the number of MSMEs that were reached with tools that the BDS providers had gotten from the training. So we essentially were providing a number of free tools for them to use, which they could rebrand in their own company branding. And with these tools, we had over 5 times as more MSMEs reached, and this was over the course of the past year. So while there is, improvements that can be made in terms of the diagnostics and how the diagnostics are delivered, what was very encouraging is that there was high uptake in the usage of tools, and the impact that those tools were creating was also high, as we saw that BDS providers were seeing increased demand for their services as well. And then a large
Alvin, can I
percentage. Yeah.
just nudge you along a little bit?
Yes, I'm almost at the end.
Okay.
What we're also seeing is that there is we're starting to see a willingness to pay from the MSMEs. So what the key lessons that we're learning? So standards are definitely an enabler. We While we did initially expect standards to be seen or in a negative light as a way of over controlling the BDS market, there was a lot of welcome sentiments for the standards, since this was a way the BDS providers that were active, that see themselves as good, see standards as a way to differentiate themselves from other BDS providers, are the bad ones, and also professionalize the market, which they believe is a clear pathway for commercial sustainability going forward. We saw that segmentation of the BDS providers was really important. We were able to provide, I would say, the most value to this adjacent segment, who really saw the value in having access to a wide database of tools, who saw value in having access to a platform that they might not be able to afford to develop for themselves, that they can share with their clients. So, having this segment, focusing on this segment for capacity building was important, and this segment was also the most active in the outreach of utilizing tools to their MSME clients. Uh, Another important learning was that the digital tools that we had developed, the diagnostic tools, also had to be contextualized to the different segments of MSMEs. We realized that, especially with MSMEs, agri SMEs, farmer organizations, they struggled with the digital tools that we had created. These are primarily rural-based SMEs, so digital connectivity is a challenge. Also, the language utilized was a challenge. So this was a key learning, that there needs to be contextualization within these tools. There is a willingness to pay emerging from the BDS providers themselves for capacity building, as well as the MSMEs that they're serving, which is interesting, and builds the confidence that there is opportunity to develop a sustainable model on both sides for strengthening BDS providers, as well as for supporting MSMEs through cost share. And collaboration was also super critical in actually driving a lot of the learnings that we saw. So government's involvement was very important, as well as collaborating with other partners as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we'll touch on this in the breakout rooms, but really for the breakout rooms, I guess what we want to think through, and as Mark brought it up, is commercial sustainability and driving towards this, but then also discussing how we can use certification to unlock even deeper trust within the BDS ecosystem. So looking forward to having further discussions with everyone later.
Great. Thank you very much, Alvin. And since one of the topics that you want to discuss is commercial sustainability, then I think the inputs that people have just given will be very useful, and I'll bring those into your breakout group.